followed was a long drive to the city. The airport is quite a ways away, closer to Tel Aviv. The route was scenic between cities, and once we entered the modern part of Jerusalem, we passed several parks along one side of the road. As we approached our destination, Tobias pointed out the Tower of David, its stones bearing the weight of unimaginable time. Passing through Jaffa Gate was followed by a hectic ride through the streets of the old city. It was uneventful, save for us almost running over about 17 tourists. When the cars stopped, we piled out, entering a sea of chattering sightseers and pious pilgrims. There was no parking at the church itself, so we had to walk through alleys and streets for a good 5 minutes before arriving. But finally it stood before us. Built like a box, it had an ancient, simple facade with 2 large, arched windows on the wall above us. "The Church of the Holy Sepulchre," Tobias said. "Held by tradition to be the site of the crucifixion of Jesus of Nazareth, the structure also encloses one of the traditional locations of his burial. This marvelous structure was originally 2 buildings, constructed in the 4th century by order of Constantine the Great. It replaced a temple to Aphrodite that had occupied the same site for approximately 200 years. "Thank you, Wikipedia," J.C. grumbled, shouldering his assault rifle. He'd changed into combat fatigues. "Whether tradition is correct," Tobias continued calmly, hands clasped behind his back, "and whether this is the actual location of the historical events, is a subject of some dispute, though tradition has many convenient explanations for anomalies, such as reasoning that the temple to Aphrodite was constructed here to suppress early Christian worship. It has been shown that this church follows the shape of the pagan one in key areas. In addition, the fact that the church lies within the city walls makes for an excellent disputation, as the tomb of Jesus would have been outside the city." "It doesn't matter to us whether it is authentic or not," I said, passing Tobias. "Razon would have come here. It's one of the most obvious places, if not the most obvious place, to start looking. Monica, a word, please." She fell into step beside me, her goons going to check if we needed tickets to enter. The police presence here seemed very heavy, but then the church is in the West Bank, and there had been a couple of terrorist scares lately. "What is it you want?" Monica asked me. "Does the camera spit out pictures immediately?" I asked. "Does it give digital results?" "No, it takes pictures on film only, medium format, no digital back. Razon insisted it be that way." "Now a harder one. You do realize the problems with a camera that takes pictures of one's very location, only farther back in time, don't you?" "What do you mean?" "Merely this. We're not in the same location now as we were 2,000 years ago. The planet moves. One of the theoretical problems with time travel is that if you were to go back in time 100 years to the exact point we're standing now, you'd likely find yourself in outer space. Even if you were extremely lucky and the planet were in the exact same place in its orbit, the Earth's rotation would mean that you'd appear somewhere else on its surface, or under its surface, or hundreds of feet in the air." "That's ridiculous." "It's science," I said, looking up at the face of the church. "What we're doing here is ridiculous. And yet—" "All I know," she said, "is that Razon had to get to a place to take pictures of it." "All right," I said. "One more. What's he like? Personality?" "Abrasive," she said immediately. "Argumentative. And he is very protective of his equipment. I'm sure half of the reason he got away with the camera was because he'd repeatedly convinced us he was OCD with his stuff, so we gave him too much leniency." Eventually our group made its way into the church. The stuffy air carried the sounds of whispering tourists and feet shuffling on the stones. It was still a functioning place of worship. "We're missing something, Steve," Ivy said, falling into step beside me. We're ignoring an important part.